Jauan, you got some splaining to do. The most anticlimactic holdout in the history of holdouts just ended, and the Niners got their wide receiver back. That's Larry Krueger. I'm Grant Cohn. Welcome to Cohn and Krueger. Just on my channel this week. We'll be on his channel next week. We're figuring it out. Larry, the question of the day is, what really happened with Jauan Jennings? We really still haven't gotten the full story. He hasn't even spoken yet. If you had to, I mean, we don't know, but if you had to guess, what did you think really happened here?
I think he went rogue against his own agent, because I haven't heard his agent say a thing. I think his agent maybe didn't endorse this whole plan, and he just said, you know what, I'm going to sit it out. And you know what, I would not be totally if you told me that the Niners are like over here going, hey, you know, we're not sure, we wish this, we wish that, and over here going, yeah, Jauan, we're okay with you skipping camp. I think they probably were okay with it, just simply because of you know, it's less potential for injury, and they weren't going to give him the contract extension. I think they made that clear. Then it's just a matter of he's sitting out, and is he sitting out against their wishes or with their blessing? And it's obviously with their blessing, because they could have made it, you know, they created this whole thing. He showed up, all of a sudden he's got a calf injury. Lynch is like, the calf injury is legit. But the more you think about it, the more you realize, hey, you know what? He has to say that calf injury is legit, because if the calf injury isn't legit, now you're allowing a player to just not just skip opt to skip training camp and the preseason, and you're not going to find him a penny, and you're totally okay with that. So I think at the end of the day, they kind of are totally okay with it, because they don't want to see any injuries, but they weren't going to pay him any money. So like, they kind of knew they weren't going to pay him. So it's like, how long do you need? What do you need to make this right with you? And he's like, I'm going to sit out as long as possible. And that ended today.
Let's explore the theory that he went rogue against his agent's wishes. His agent is Drew Rosenhaus, and you wouldn't expect Drew Rosenhaus' client to hold out and then show up after losing. Usually he wins these things. So I see what you mean about him potentially going rogue. If this was a Drew Rosenhaus production, if he was orchestrating the whole thing, you would think that there would be updates every few days. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, you know, the Niners say this, but this is what's really is going on. It's what I'm hearing. We got none of that. We got the one report from Adam Schefter 2 weeks before camp, and then nothing else. So I don't know what to think. I mean, maybe Rosenhaus said, I think you're going to lose this one. Maybe Jennings went rogue. Is it possible that he was just injured and the Niners sort of made him look bad and that he wasn't holding out? Or, I mean, I don't know. That seems kind of rich, but is that possible?
I mean,
he hasn't even said anything.
Yeah, it's totally possible, but I don't think it's likely. I think it's likely that they just said, you know what? We're not going to pay you, but we want you to be happy because we like you. What do you need to be happy? And then this is what he came up with.
$25 million cash. And they were like, well, that's not going to happen.
Right. So what can we do? We're not going to pay you. So what can we do in lieu of paying you? And bottom line is he sat out all of training camp. And you could argue that it was in their interest to have him skip, because as long as he doesn't have a soft tissue injury in the next, week, having Jauan, at least you're guaranteed basically that you have Jauan Jennings week 1, where if he had played all summer, there was no guarantee of that. So at the end of the day, I think the Niners, they were about what they wanted, which was, we're not paying you. We've already paid you. The timing's not right. And there may also have been, Grant, and this is how I kind of see it as well. Now that he's here, now that he showed up, I get the feeling that, like, because Lynch said the other day, he made it seem like he would be okay with giving Jauan some kind of a bump. I don't think they're going to do that, because I don't think the Niners want to rip up his contract this year. And I don't think Rosenhaus wants to bypasses free agency next March. But if he has a great year and they get to like November or December, well, then all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, and JJ's had a great year. Well, then it's going to be like, hey, the same reason that they love the player now, they're going to love the player then. And then at that point, I think the timing might be right for some kind of an extension. But I think I think they're trying to stick it to him and say, hey, you know what? Let's prove it. Let's prove it one more time. It's not in our best interest to extend you now, but it may be in December.
He's going to say he was injured. That's my prediction. When he finally talks on Wednesday or Thursday and we say, why'd you end your holdout? He's going to say, what holdout? Calf hurt. And maybe he's true. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll never know. But that's what I think he's going to say. And then finally, I wonder if the real reason why he showed up today is because of Kendrick Bourne. It seems like Jauan, again, maybe it was just the calf, but it seemed like Jauan felt like he had leverage here. Okay, you signed DeMarcus Robinson, but he won't be out there for the first 3 weeks, and you're not really going to start Marquez Valdez Scantling or Sky Moore week one, are you? And they're like, no, but we'll start Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne is about 85% of you, and we like Kendrick Bourne, and he knows our system, and we're perfectly fine with having him on the field. And it seemed like Jauan was like, my calf feels better. It's the funniest thing. You should bring up Kendrick Bourne because my calf feels 100% better now. Is it possible that Kendrick Bourne somehow ended this standoff?
Yes. I mean, there's no question. It's possible. It's definitely possible. It's also, possible that Jauan just was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do anything more than I need to do. But I don't know about you, but just watching him today, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, there was indications of calf problems. There was none. He didn't reach for it. He didn't grimace. He looked explosive. He planted on it. He drove on it. I mean, he didn't look at all. He wasn't gingerly getting through that practice with the calf strain. So I have a feeling the calf has been, if it had been a grade 2, it said 3 to 8 weeks. That would have been 2 months from March, or so that would have been, he would have been ready by June 1st for sure at June 1st. Even if it had been a grade 3 strain, that's 6 months at the max, and it's been 6 months. So, and there was no surgery, and Shanahan told us it wasn't that serious. But they're all we've been told is it's not that serious, but it's kind of tricky. So it just kind of gives them the ultimate out to do anything they wanted to do and spin this any way they wanted to spin it. I think they dodged a huge PR nightmare by creating this whole thing. And now I think it was time to either show up or hold out. And he showed up.
I think I get the sense that Jauan's a pretty emotional person and that it's a good thing for him on the field. But like, we've seen him not talk to the media after wins or like after games where he's had really good games and they've lost. Like, he seems a little emotional. It's possible he thought, hey, you know what? I've done everything right. They say they love me. I blocked my ass off. I stepped up last year. I'm going to show up to training camp and they're going to take care of me. And then when it hit him that it wasn't going to happen, it's possible he was like, all right, well, I'm not doing training camp then. I'll show up week 1. See you then. If that's how you're going to treat me, could happen. But I guess we'll have to hear from him.
Well, and also I think, when faced with, hey, he's not going to show up for training camp, I think Lynch and Shanahan were like, it's not the worst thing. Yeah. He can't get hurt. We got all these guys falling like flies. At least he can't get hurt if he doesn't show up for training camp. He is kind of the big money guy as far as this guy shows up in the Super Bowl. He shows up when there's money on the table, and there is no money on the table in the preseason, in the practices or the games. So in some ways it's fitting that he hasn't shown up until now, but the way he practiced today definitely undercuts the whole notion that the calf injury is really lingering. It didn't seem to be lingering at all.
Okay. Dangerous Dave says, my guy, can't wait to hear this ish. Oh, you're hearing it. /fan23 says, Krug and Grant, JK, love you both. Keep it up. Okay. So that's what we think went on with Jauan Jennings. What do you expect? What's next for Jauan Jennings? No training camp. Probably will start week 1. they need him for now, but wide receivers are coming back. How do you see this season playing out for him and his future?
Well, I think they're going to throw him out there. The Niners have never been at all like, well, we'll have a slow build and it'll be a little bit this week. And he'll be out there this week. Like he hasn't missed any time at all. I think he's going to be a full go for this game. And I think that's the other thing is that they're going to have to somewhat feed him the ball this year to get to at least give him the opportunity to go have a monster year. I'm sure they're saying on some level, hey, the timing's not right. That's what the Kawakami reporting was. The timing's not right. Well, if you're going to tell somebody the timing's not right, then you have to make sure they get the ball a lot so they can put together the kind of statistical year where they will get paid. So I get the feeling that he's going to be featured. I think it's going to be a lot of Jauan. I think you're going to see a lot of Purdy to Jauan. And then I think if he plays well enough and they get past Thanksgiving and he's healthy and this and that, I think they're going to say, hey, now the timing is right. And now we can discuss some kind of an extension. I still don't think they want to give him anything close to the Ayuk contract, but I think there's more of a chance of a deal getting done here if he balls out and they get to November and they're like, okay, let's keep you off of the free agent market in March. How do we do that? And I could see them and Rosenhaus at that point sitting down and doing a deal.
I'm a little less optimistic than you. I feel like he's going to lose his spot as the number one target in the wide receiver room to Pearsall if he hasn't already. I think Pearsall is going to be the one with 115 to 130 targets, and I'd be surprised if Jennings gets more than 90. I think he'll be right in that 85 to 100 range. And, when Demarcus Robinson comes back, Jennings will probably still start, but I wonder how many targets Robinson will cut into at that point. And by the end of the season, when Ayuk comes back, I'm curious to see if Jennings is anything more than a number 3 receiver. He's a good player who could start on a lot of teams, but on this team, I think as the season goes on, his role will diminish and diminish and diminish. I don't think he's going to get an extension. I'm usually wrong with these prognostications. I see what you're saying, but I think the Niners want that comp pick. I don't think they really want to spend much more money, even though they can. And I think they're going to spend it like, okay, we got a 6th round comp pick for Jauan Jennings, but we drafted him in round 7. That's an upgrade. As they did that with Jordan Mason. Remember, like they traded him for a 5th round pick. Like, well, he was undrafted. Anytime you can trade an undrafted guy for a 5th round pick, that's a win. I think that's how they're going to spin it, which is too bad. And here's my question for Jennings. So do you think he will give the same A+ effort? He's known for his effort, blocking, everything when he doesn't have the ball. We saw what Charvarius Ward did last year. He talked about it. His heart wasn't in it because the Niners wouldn't extend him. What do you think? Is this over with?
I just think Jennings is a very, simplistic when it comes to his football career. I think he's very simple-minded, which is anytime he's on the field, he's going all out. I just think he's got one speed that he plays at, and that's the speed he's going to play at. Like, I don't think he's going to pull a Mooney Ward. I don't think he's going to be like, yeah, man, they didn't give me any assurances for next year, so I'm going to emotionally and physically, mentally shut it down. I think he's driven by more of a code than that, because his play and his style of play and his ferocity started well before he came to the Niners. I mean, he was a legend to the people at Tennessee. So what now, in his last year with the Niners, he's going to be unhappy. And
that's a good point.
Yeah, I just think
he only plays one way. And Ward had made a lot of money in his career. Jennings hasn't yet.
Jennings can't. Yeah, I mean, Mooney maybe was a little bit more coveted and could have a little bit more. I mean, he's playing a position that's so coveted. Corner, he's big, he's young, he's very talented. Where Jennings is playing a position that's loaded, and there's every team's going to the spread in college, and so there's more and more receivers. And every draft that goes by, it seems like it's a deeper and deeper class of receivers. So he probably just needs to play well and get out there. The question I would have is, did he skip this summer to avoid injury? And I think partially he's like, hey, if you're not going to take care of me, I got to take care of myself. I got to minimize my exposure to the kind of violence that this game presents on a daily basis. And I think the Niners were cool with it. because they felt like they had to be to get along with this player, and they love this player. So I think that's what's going on. I think the Niners, did Shanahan at any point seem pissed? No. Has Lynch at any
Lynch
point
seemed pissed the other day, or exasperated, or frustrated?
He called him his favorite player, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, these guys love this guy. And why do they love him? They love him because he plays super hard, he's super tough, and he's competitive as all get out. And most coaches are more competitive than the players. This is a player that's probably more competitive than some of the coaches. So I think but
if I were Jauan, I'd be like, if you say you love me, you know how you could tell me you love me? With greenbacks. Don't tell me you love. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Give me money.
It's true. I'm sure he's like, hey man, compliments don't spend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway,
but he's got to play, play nice here, because the bottom line is you can't war with the guy who's calling the plays in Kyle Shanahan. The two guys you can't war with if you're Jauan Jennings are Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. Those are the guys that are going to be the ticket to your production and thus your financial windfall. So I think he'd have to be just an absolute fool to go at Shanahan.
Yeah, he could hold out the entire season. They could replace him, and he could prove the Niners' point that he's not that essential. I think he was hoping maybe that if he sat out week 1, the Niners might struggle on offense, and it would prove his point that he's utterly essential. But then they threatened to sign Kendrick Bourne. Let me ask you this: do you think the Niners actually will sign Kendrick Bourne, or do you think he already served his function to the franchise and he's moving on? Do they need him at this point?
I don't think so.
Thanks, Kendrick.
I think he was good leverage to make sure JJ showed up today. But I don't think they're going to sign him. I've got some buddies who are out in that New England area that, are around the Patriots, and say that the people around that franchise don't think that he came out of that 2023 ACL surgery the same guy. So I think he's a diminished player. And I think the Niners would sign him if that was their only alternative. But I think he's gonna, the fact that he had a workout with them, it wasn't just like a meeting. Supposedly it was some kind of a workout. So they're undecided. They know he's got to show something, and I don't think he's going to show anything in the workout. I think they're going to pass.
Yeah, he might go to Washington. They really like older players, but I think the Niners, who also seem to like older players, they need to pass on the next 30-year-old wide receiver. They signed about 8 of them this offseason, and I think 7 of them got hurt. Enough with 30-year-old guy that you signed because he knows your system. Yeah, but he tore his ACL, and he's not that good anymore. He's not the Kendrick you remember. Kyle needs to do a better job of he needs to find his Jordan Jeffersons. And I guess Sky Moore kind of qualifies. He's young, I guess. So I got to give him that. But no to Kendrick. Thank you, Kendrick. We loved you the first time.
Yeah, why would you go with Kendrick Bourne when you have Russell Gage, you have Robbie Chosen, you have if he was a noticeable difference maker, it'd be one thing. To me, the guy who I think is going to be really good is Jordan Watkins. I think Watkins, my guess is 3 or 4 weeks from now, Watkins starts to really ball out, and then you start hearing people say stuff, and I don't know if it's true or not, but they're going to say stuff like, one of the reasons we passed on Bourne and one of the reasons we were held so firm on JJ is we saw that Watkins was going to be this great player. And then they're going to get ahead of it, call it a parade, and be like, hey, look at us. But I don't think they know that right now, but I feel like I do. I feel like Watkins is really, really looks good to me. I think because you got to remember this, Brock Purdy is going to throw it to anybody who separates deep down the field, and that's what this kid does. So he's going to get the ball.
I wish I could agree with you on this because, I agree with you on Jordan Watkins. I think he's a hell of a player. The issue is Kyle. The issue is Kyle. Are you going to play your rookie wide receiver? Because you had Ricky Pearsall doing freaking cardio on the field last year. He wouldn't I'd love to feel like Kyle will involve him, empower him, because I think he's really good. And I think he can give the offense something it doesn't have, but I'm cynical, Larry. I've seen 9 years of Kyle Shanahan.
There's reason to be cynical, but I will say this. He is a more polished player, and he's coming out of the best college football conference where he put up big numbers last year. So it's like if you can do it in the SEC in a pro-style offense with Jackson Dart, then I think you're on that short list of guys who potentially can succeed as rookie receivers in a pro style offense. And that's where he's at. So we'll see. He's shown glimpses in practice. But I think there's a lot more there. I think Watkins is going to be really good.
What annoys me with Kyle, and then we'll move on, is like Ricky Pearsall's running around getting 2 targets, no catches. And you're like, man, Ricky must really suck. And then something happens. It's week 17 and Kyle's like, okay, we're featuring Ricky this week. And it's 10 targets, 8 catches, 150 yards. It's like, oh, you don't suck at all. Kyle just decided not to go to you, and now he wants to go to you. So it's like, what I don't want to see is Jordan Watkins go crazy in a week 18 game that doesn't matter, or next year, and we'll have to wonder, well, maybe could he have done this last year when they went 9-8? Or, you know what I mean? Like, don't leave a bullet in the chamber if you got it, Kyle. Come on. He's important.
And, it's funny. I've talked to Kyle about this kind of thing in the past, and he swears that none of this has to do with him at all. He swears that it's all game conditions and it's up to the quarterback. Who gets the ball, according to Kyle, is like in the stars. Because I asked him, I said, hey, man, at halftime of the Super Bowl against the Chiefs in Miami, Debo's the MVP at halftime. He only touched the ball twice in the second half. What gives, Kyle? And he's like, well, that's not how that's
the
really
defense dictates and
yeah,
that is not
other
true.
Things that dictated, and this is like, come on.
Every coach has sections on their play sheet where Brandon Ayuk is the primary, 25 plays where Brandon Ayuk is the primary target, 25 plays where Kittle's the primary target. So when it's 3rd and 7 and you want to get the ball to Kittle, you don't have to search for it. I'm just saying, Kyle uses our ignorance of football against us, but we know the truth.
McVay got the ball to Cooper Kupp in the second half, in the fourth quarter of the NFC Championship game against the Niners, when everybody in the place knew that Stafford was going to Kupp. They still went to Kupp. So this idea that you can't scheme guys, you can't design the ball to go a certain direction. I don't know if I would buy that. I really just don't know.
I definitely don't buy that. Niners Forever 04 says all that holdout for nothing is crazy. HHG Trucker says Pearsall's fantasy production just went down for you. I'm a little nervous about Pearsall. He's going to have a big first 6 weeks of the season, and then Ayuk's going to come back, and then God knows what's going to happen. But I did draft Ricky Pearsall in round 5. I think he's going to have 1,200 yards this year. We'll see if I'm wrong.
He's going to get targeted a ton.
He's going to get targeted. Slow Civic Garage says, hey guys, love watching y'all after Lombardi. You have great taste, man. Thank you very much. Dave in the Desert 1457 says B.A. Pearsall and JJ are a pretty potent trio if we can get them all in the field at the same time. It's true. You might be able to, this will be the year. We'll see. Niners Forever 04 says Niners can draft Arch Manning next year in the 7th round. Another Mr. Irrelevant. His stock is down. I thought he was Peyton's kid.
He didn't look good, did he?
I thought he was Peyton's kid. Now it's Cooper's kid? I'm way out.
Grant, forget Arch. Go watch the Cal kid.
Oh, I watched him.
God.
He was good. A lot better than the UCLA kid that we paid for.
His name's Jaron Kiave Songopolo Tele.
He has a hyphenated first name. I've never seen that before, but I think it means he's special. I like him.
He's good.
Harold McAllister says Pearsall, Jennings, and who else starting week 1? Pearsall and Jennings.
Pearsall and Jennings were at the top of the wide receiver drills today, by the way. They were the ones. So, those are going to be the starters for sure.
Gage in the slot, or Gage number 3.
Slot.
Yeah. Gage.
Gage in the slot. Yeah. Is Watkins going to play this week? He didn't practice today.
Probably not. Can't get right. 929 says if this same receiver depth chart for the Niners was on another team, would you guys still be as positive about it? Only P. Maho can carry 2s and 3s.
Well, okay, so what do you got here? You got Jennings, who's proven that he's going to show up when the lights are brightest. You have Pearsall, who was a first-round pick, who's got a great attitude and had a disastrous rookie year, but really saved it at the end and has carried that momentum into the second year. So the arrow's pointing up on him. Gage has been a total find. Sky Moore is your dual return guy. And I'm a big fan of Jordan Watkins. Now, I'm disappointed in Cowing. I'm disappointed in some of these receivers that, besides the guys I've already named. But I think it's a decent receiving core. They complement one another, right? You got the big receiver in Jennings. You got kind of that nifty middle of the field guy in Pearsall. Gage is very, very cagey. And then you got the deep threat in Watkins, and you got the return threat and the gadget guy in Sky Moore. So I think it's a good complementary receiving core. I'll just say this: if they didn't have Watkins, I'd be nervous because that means it would be just kind of a slowish thing. But you got a 4.37, 200-pound rookie receiver. So I think it's actually a pretty good complementary group.
Last Dance season says Pearsall 125 targets, Kittle 110, CMC 90, D-Rob 40 plus, Ayuk 60 plus. Where is this 90 for Jennings coming from?
I don't think Ayuk's getting 60 targets. I'd be shocked.
I don't think McCaffrey's getting 90
targets. He's not even going to be there.
I don't think Kittle getting 110.
Yeah, I would say those numbers are a little. They're a little.
But yeah, Jennings is nothing guaranteed for Jennings. Remember, in 2023, 2 years ago, the man caught 19 passes in an entire season. So you never know. Nothing's promised for him. And I don't think he's part of the future, although Larry does. And we'll see who's right. Usually Larry. Anoop says roster looks better than I thought. Super Bowl? Yes. We're both picking the Niners to win the Super Bowl this year. Didn't know that. Joseph for real says, well, Jauan flexed for PTO. I too royally flush on the clock. Hilarious. Okay, one more question before we make some prize picks. Should the Niners sign Jabril Peppers? Patriots cut him. He's a pretty good player. He's almost 30 years old. What do you think?
I absolutely would. To me, Jabril Peppers, Jair Brown's a question mark, and Siegel's a rookie. And Pinnock is a really dependable player, but he's also kind of a converted corner. I don't know if you can physically, hang the entire season at the safety spot. Mustafa's coming back, but yeah, Peppers creates big plays, and he's a veteran. He's made a number of big plays. He's around the football. I like Jabril Peppers. I think that's it. To me, it's very curious that they're cutting him loose. I would even cut. To me, it's like one of these offensive linemen. You don't need 10 offensive linemen. The biggest waste of roster space is on backup offensive linemen. Why? Because the starters play the whole freaking game. If everything goes right, the starters play the whole game. So you don't need 5 backups. They have 5 offensive line backups because they can't make up their mind.
Yeah.
Make up your mind. At Austin Pleasance or Spencer Burford.
Right.
Connor Colby, Drew Moss, and Matt Hennessy. You don't need all 3. You probably just need one. And you already have Nugent sitting there. Cut Hennessy, cut Pleasance, and add some guys at some positions where it's a bit more meaningful, and that would be one spot. Give me another safety, and yes, I want Jabril Peppers.
Only reason I would say no is that Malik Mustafa is coming back, and I feel like the starters by the end of the season are going to be Mustafa and Siegel, and they'll both be on rookie deals, and they'll both be young, and you kind of want them playing together. But he's good, and you don't have Mustafa yet, and you don't know what he's going to be when he comes back, and you really don't know that much about Siegel yet, and your team isn't good enough to just start turning your nose up at quality players who are available. He'd be one of your better players on defense. You should at least make the call. You should see what you could get, what it would take.
I think the Patriots also have some numbers there. They drafted the kid from Cal, Craig Woodson. You've got Kyle Duggar still. They've got some other guys there. So, maybe they feel fortified. And I know Peppers has had some issues there, but I like him a lot. I think he's physical. He's got a great nose for the ball. Takes good angles. I think Peppers would be a great get.
For what it's worth, his PFF grade last year was 82.3, which is well above average, and it was 7th best among 171 graded safeties last year. So I don't know. He's still 29. He's always been an incredible athlete. He's a better player than Jair Brown and Jason Pinnock as well. Probably a better player than Marquise Siegel. He's older. The Niners are trying to go as young as possible on defense for the sake of it, but why not? Remember when they used to bring in guys like Richard Sherman and Jason Verrett? Why not?
Carlos Rogers and those guys, yeah.
I'll talk to Robert Saleh about it. See what he says.
It's every one of these DBs is like one one time getting burnt away from just, being traded out for somebody else. So, but yeah, this is a guy that's proven he can do it. Yeah, I'd like to have him, especially since there's a lot of injuries at the safety spot. And if you could somehow get this guy and stash another safety somehow, or go, add one more roster spot somewhere and create that spot and have a little bit more depth at safety, I think that'd be a good thing.
All right, it's Prize Picks time. We got Prize Picks to make. They always give us the token sort of free play. Dak Prescott, 0.5 passing yards. Taking the more on that one, but we're here for the 49ers, not for Dak, although it's nice to have a little Thursday night action. Let's see what they got for the Niners, starting with Brock Purdy. What would be fun? Let's see. Completions, touchdowns, yards. How about yards? 244.5 passing yards, more or less on the road in Seattle against a pretty good defense. They held to 159 something in Levi's last year, but they didn't have Kittle in that game.
Seems a little on the high side. That seems a little on the high side.
I would go less too.
I think
it's a good defense, and it's a tough place to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good pass rush and one of the better secondaries in pro football. I don't think Seattle's going to be a great team. Doesn't mean they're not going to be good in week one, though.
McCaffrey, 70.5 rush yards, more or less?
What are the other categories for him? Let's see.
Receiving yards, 33.5. Receptions, 2.5. Rush attempts, 6. That's an interesting one.
How many rush attempts?
16. That's pretty light for him.
Yeah, that's pretty light. I'm going to say week one, he's fresh. I like the rush attempts more.
I think that's probably a good call. I mean, it's Kyle Shanahan. He can't help himself. Kittle.
Shanahan is going to take carries off of him, but I don't think it's going to be this week.
I love that Prize Picks has targets. This is great.
Is great. That's a great topic.
Because it's not about whether Purdy makes the throw or the guy makes the catch. It's just trying to get inside the mind of Kyle. So 7 targets for Kittle week one. I mean, they don't always feature him the way they should, but they kind of have to right now.
Oh, well, I definitely would go with I like that.
More?
I think Kittle's gonna be heavily targeted. Now that's a big number. I was hoping for more like 5.
Yeah,
but I could see him being targeted at least 10 times in this game. The one I think that's gonna be a theme in this whole this whole year is Farrell's here, so Kittle will get more targets.
I think so too. That's why they signed Farrell, right? That was sort of their justification. Like, hey, we have to use our All-Pro, future Hall of Fame tight end as an offensive lineman more than we'd like to. So here comes Luke Farrell. Okay. How about one more? Moody, 1.5 field goals made, more or less. 1.5.
Gosh, I'll say less.
Less.
I'll say less because I think the Niners are, they're afraid of putting him out there. I think Shanahan, I want to see Shanahan go for it more on 4th down. I mean, to me, if there was one thing I'd love to have asked Shanahan today, I think the Niners last year lost a bunch of games. They were like 2-6 in games decided by 7 points or less. So I'd like to see them go for it on 4th down a little bit more, like some of the other more analytic-driven teams.
Wasn't one of those wins against the Cowboys where they were winning by a lot and let the Cowboys back in the game with like a minute left? I think that was one of them. The other close one was the Tampa game. Well, here those are our picks. We're going to lock it in. Well, I guess I will lock it in later. But Prize Picks is available in 45 states, including California and Texas. And Prize Picks will give you $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you get $50 in lineups. Use promo code COHN when you sign up today. All right, next question for Larry. What are your expectations for Robert Saleh this year? I think a lot of Niner fans are hoping that he can have wave a magic wand and turn this defense elite again. Is that what you're expecting? Can he do it all overnight? Is it going to take a couple of years? Is there one thing that he can improve first? What's the realistic expectation?
Well, I mean, they call 3rd down the quarterback down, right, for the offense, but it's also the big down for defensive coordinators. It's very much the defensive coordinator down. So I think Sorensen had no answers. I think he sat back in a total vanilla, paralysis mode. And I don't think Saleh's going to do that. I think Saleh's going to dial up more exotics. He's going to give different looks. If his front 4 can't get pressure, and there's reason to believe that their tackles aren't very good at rushing the passer, I think he's going to dial it up. I think you're going to see exotics and stunts and games and twists and trying to run one side. And, you're going to see him try to mix it up. He's not going to sit back on his hands. I think we already saw it in the preseason. And I think you're going to see it early in games. And I think when you get to third down, he's going to try to speed you up. If he can't get it done with McKell and Bosa and Huff and these guys, then you're going to see DBs and linebackers.
I think it's funny you said the pass rush. I agree with that. I think he's going to improve the run defense a lot. And I think it's going to be a lot like by alignment and scheme. I mean, if you remember the first time they hired him, he inherited an awful defense. 2016 Niners defense was just one of the worst in franchise history.
Yeah.
They gave up like 4.8 yards per carry, worse than they gave up like 2,300 yards on the ground. It was an embarrassment. So he takes it over, and immediately, year one, it was a bad team. 2017 Niners. They were like 1-10 at one point, but they gave up 3.8 yards per carry. So he right off the bat, he fixed that. And I think one of the things then in 2019, he eventually installed the wide 9 when it was a different team and they had all this talent.
Yeah.
But at this point, if job one is to stop the run, I think we've seen that he can do it. He can go away from the wide 9. He can use different fronts. He can switch it up. The Niners were such Swiss cheese in the red zone. I mean, teams were just running into the end zone left and right last season. I don't think we're going to see that. So I think there's going to be more of like a wall in the first line of defense against the run. And that'll just make the Niners defense a little more solid overall.
We've been seeing 5-man fronts.
Yeah.
So I think we're already getting indications that if week one, if Seattle starts to have success running it down the Niners' throat, the Niners will not sit there in just in a paralysis mode going, what do we do? You're going to see 5-man fronts. You're going to see run blitzes. They're not going to sit there and just get dominated. You're going to see more games, more everything. I mean, I just think that there's a whole, I got to remember this too. He's also got Gus Bradley sitting right there. Bradley is a very creative defensive coordinator in his own right. They know what they're up against. They seem to be, I would say, Saleh and Bradley sound to me like the most realistic football men in the building. When I say that, I mean, Shanahan just is like, hey, I was Jake's greatest performance. And, Lynch says some things. They say some things that are like what they're wishing for.
Yeah.
Where these guys are a little bit less invested because they haven't cooked up this meal. They've just been asked to come in and kind of help out. And so they're more honest. And like at one point, Saleh said, hey, Gus said to us, I was asking him about that defensive end, Trevis Gibson. He's like, Gus said to me, hey, in the midst of all this, we may actually find some good stuff out of it. It's like in the midst of all this, meaning like this is a major freaking rebuild on the defensive side of the ball. And then we're going with all these young guys. But if you shuffle through 20 guys, guess what? You may find a guy or two, and they feel like they have with Gibson and probably a couple others. So those guys seem more realistic. I think they're going to be prepared, Grant, for a full array of exotic blitzes.
I think you also got to keep in mind the first 2 picks, Alfred Collins, Mykel Williams, they're both essentially defensive tackles. Williams can play a little edge, but he's mostly going to play defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the best defensive tackles the Niners have drafted the last 15 years, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, those guys were not great as rookies. It took them time. It takes most defensive tackles time. Like,
it's all technique.
Who's the guy in Philly?
Why.
Who's the guy in Philly? What's his name?
Are you talking about Hargrave?
No, the incredible young player in Philly.
Milton Williams or Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter. He wasn't utterly dominant his rookie year. His second year he was.
Yeah.
DeForest Buckner was great player in his third year. Eric Armstead put it all together in his fifth year. So if Mykel Williams and Alfred Collins aren't tearing it up week one of their rookie year, I mean, that's sort of what rookie defensive tackles do. You're going up against the strongest players on the other team, and you're 20, maybe 22. Take some time.
Oh, and it's all leverage. I mean, look at the difference, Grant. To me, the guy who you can really point to as the poster child for exactly what you're talking about is Armstead. Mm-hmm. Armstead, as a rookie, did not anchor worth a damn at all.
Didn't play him against the run as a rookie. He was a third down pass rusher.
Against the run. He was a liability against the run. And I remember watching him when Stanford played Oregon, his final year there. Stanford ran for any 2 yards they wanted all night long with Tyler Gaffney. They pushed him around with ease. Now, he went from that player to a guy with unbelievable functional strength over the last few years, all because of technique, all because of, and so young guys don't have great technique, and so they don't get the most out of their ability. By the time you learn the techniques, if you have the ability, you're really, really good.
You need to learn the leverage. You need to learn the strength, because Alfred Collins, Michael Williams, their whole lives, they've been bullying the person in front of them, whether they were ends or tackle. It doesn't matter what my pad level is or how I use my hands. I'm just bigger and stronger than you. Those days are over. This is the NFL. Even the backup guard that you're going against is just as strong as you, if not stronger. So now you got to use the levers and the leverage to your advantage. Eric Armstead figured it out. Took him a few years. Buckner figured it out.
Totally.
Took him a few years.
Yeah,
and I think these guys will figure it out too. But to expect them to be like dominating week one, I don't even think they're going to start. I'm not even sure they're going to start.
Yeah, that would be my first question. Do you think it's Kalia?
Yes.
What is it? Kalia and
Elliott.
Who? And Elliott starting on the defensive tackle?
I think so. And then maybe Michael Williams starts at defensive end, maybe, or Gross Matos.
So I mean that I think you got young players. I mean, you think of young players in the NFL, and I was looking at John Lynch's football card the other day. John Lynch is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest safeties that ever played. He had 13 tackles his rookie year. He had 15 tackles his second year. He wasn't a Pro Bowler till his fourth year. This guy's in the Hall of Fame, and he was really smart and could make any adjustment he needed to make. And it's still, he made less than 50 tackles in his first 2 years combined. So, a lot of these rookies, even if you could play really well, even if you're going to be freaking amazing, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. So they're going to have to be a little bit more realistic. I'll be eager to see. The thing I'm looking forward to watching is, how does Chris Kacerek divvy up the reps on that defensive front? Who gets the reps, and how is it all divvied up? Because there's a lot of pretty even guys there.
Yeah, does he play the rookies together on the second line, or does he stagger them and switch them? It would be interesting to see. You might want to have Michael and Alfred and CJ playing together, since they're going to be playing together for a long time. Something to think about.
And you're going to play them, right? I mean, you are going.
Oh yeah, they're going to go at least 8 deep on the D line.
And then also, I get the feeling that it's going to be I know they're the masters of the universe. They're supposed to know all. But let's be honest about this. What the Niners are going to do, especially defensively in week one, is a surprise to all of us, including Saleh, including all these guys, including Bradley. They don't know what they got. So somebody's going to play really, really well, and then that guy's going to get a lot of reps.
Mr. Fish and Chips OBE says all means nothing, ... 530 ... play caller. I don't know what the 530 refers to, but I appreciate you, Mr. Fish and Chips. Gregory Young says, hi, Grant and Larry. Wish you both well. Grant, I sent you a message on Twitter with New Orleans restaurant suggestions. Ooh. Great options for you. Okay, I'll check it out. I'll be there. Thank you very much.
Kevin and I are going to New Orleans as well. So
nice.
Maybe we should dine together one night there.
Maybe we should. That'd be a lot of fun.
What day of the week would you?
I haven't booked yet. I haven't booked yet. Have you?
We're going. We booked it. We're going Saturday night to LSU, Florida, Baton Rouge.
That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be so much fun. I'm jealous. Joseph Ernberg says Sam D will expose this young, weak, brittle defense. Sam D. All right, well, we'll see. Joseph Ernberg says over on CMC, Kyle will run him to the ground by week 7.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Kyle definitely. I mean, Kyle did say Robinson's a legit number 2 guy, but you know what? I'm going to have to see Kyle take some carries away from CMC before I'll believe it.
Me too. Ricky Williams 980 says tank season. We need to seriously lower our expectations. Thinking this team is going to do anything at all is insane. High picks for next year. Trade Kyle.
Wow. It's huge negativity.
Well, they haven't lost yet. Rod Simmons says salute to JJ for coming back to the team. Hope it pays. Thomas Solman says, what do you all think of Garendo as flex or fullback? Just
Yeah, I mean, I've said this.
I don't
many
trust him
times.
with anything physical, honestly, but I'd like the idea of throwing him screens and wheel routes.
Yeah,
That's
throw
how I feel.
him the ball.
Throw him the
And
ball
get him. And you know
on
what
a
I love?
linebacker.
There was a bunch of plays this summer. Now I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks, but early in camp, there was a lot of stuff where the action's all going this way, and then Garendo leaks out on the weak side, and whether Brock or Mac just kind of flips it to him, and he's got all this green grass. I want to see that. I want to see them get Garendo the ball as a receiver in space, but I don't think he's a running back.
They always had Debo who could score from anywhere on the field, even more so than Christian. And now Debo's gone. And so who is that home run hitter? Pearsall, maybe, and Garendo, maybe. So I think they do need to find a role for Garendo. Yeah. Rod Simmons says, can Pretty Ricky match Debo 2021 receiving stats? That would be incredible. I wouldn't expect it this year. That was a one-of-one season. Will Free says, this game means a lot to me. If we lose, I have to hear about it from coworkers, friends, my father-in-law, Grant. I know you're homies with Hawk Blogger, but hey, I like him a lot. He likes me. Whoever loses this game is going to feel like they lost a game they should have won. Either team.
I can't decide what Seattle's going to be. I mean, a part of me says, yeah, man, they got the best defense in the division and really good secondary. But then part of me goes, you know what? I think at the end of the year, Sam Darnold hands the reins over to Milroe. I don't think Darnold's going to make it there. I think he's going to kind of bomb. I think he had a great year in Minnesota with some terrific receivers, but I'm not a big Darnold guy. I never have been.
Will Free says he is delusional, and there's nothing more that I would love than to go in there week one and demolish them. I think JJ and RP and CMC are going to go off, and this game won't be close. Well, possible. Ricky Williams says Williams BA first and second for Parsons. Well, he's hurt. Epidural.
Yeah, I mean, I would have done that. I would have made that trade.
Daddy 1239 says, do you think we beat the Seahawks? Man, don't ever make me call you daddy again. What was that?
Yes.
What was that? Yes, sir. Just kidding. Wrong. I wanted to see Larry's reaction. Okay, Larry, I got a question for Larry that he doesn't know I'm going to ask.
Okay.
Off the cuff. Who is the most overrated player on the 49ers? Overrated. And this doesn't mean the player's bad. This is more a reflection of the discourse around said player, not the player himself.
It's probably a few.
There's always a few. Yeah. Overrated. I got someone in mind. And it's not the quarterback.
Don't say it.
Not the quarterback.
Well, I know who I think. On offense, I'll say Juice.
Ha! Wasn't even thinking of him. Sure.
I mean, it has to be. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. On defense.
Future Hall of Famer.
On defense, I would probably I guess Yatir Gross-Matos.
Oh! I'm going way bigger than that.
I think he's just really, really like one of those guys that looks like Tarzan, but doesn't
play like Tarzan.
Yeah.
I was going to go with the other defensive end on this team, the main defensive end on this team.
Nick Bosa?
Yeah, and here's what made me think of this. So you were there today. We were in the locker room, and Bosa was supposed to talk, but he didn't. And Jauan was supposed to talk, but he didn't. So the good guy of the year, Trent Williams, goes and answers everyone's questions. And he's very enthusiastic and positive. And someone asked him about Bosa. Like, is he better than ever?
He said
and Trent's like, he's the best. He's always been the best. And I'm like,
no, he's not.
No, he's not. Hold on. Like, Trent, you're the best. You were a 3-time All-Pro. You know how many times Nick's been a first-team All-Pro? Once.
Yeah.
Once. And that's great. But like Kittle twice, Warner 4 times, Trent Williams 3 times. Like, I think Bosa gets a little too much praise for a guy who's like clearly the 5th or 6th best defensive end in the league. Not the best. Not the best.
TJ Watt is the best as far as I'm concerned.
And then you got Miles Garrett.
That guy, he's amazing.
Even Max Crosby.
Miles Garrett.
Yeah. The best.
Right. And if I looked at the list, there's probably other guys I'm not even thinking of. I think Bosa's among the best.
He's very good. He's excellent. but his best year was 2022. And since then, he's had good but not great years. Very good but not great years. Like a lot of pressures, not as many sacks as Max Crosby the last couple of years, not as many forced fumbles. Doesn't even play as much as Max Crosby, like a 75% snap guy. But he's really good. I just want to make that point.
He's very good, but come on. I mean, do you watch DJ Watt? I mean, tell me you don't watch any other teams without telling me you don't watch any other teams. To say that, I mean, Nick now granted, it's a teammate. It's a teammate saying that a guy that
which is fair.
Yeah, I mean, a teammate.
And granted, like Trent Williams said that Trey Lance was going to be a franchise quarterback. He compared Jordan Mason to Marshawn Lynch. He just praises his teammates as he should. So just wanted to point that out if Trent's watching, which I know he's not. That guy is so rich. He has way better things to do with his time. But okay, we got that. So on a more positive note to end the show, who is the most underrated player on the 49ers? And why is it Jake Moody?
Most underrated. Now this... Most underrated.
Most underrated.
Well, I'll tell you who I think is incredibly underrated, and I don't think people realize how good he is yet because he just showed up. But Jason Pinnock is very underrated.
Interesting.
He's a very smart player at the line of scrimmage. He can do a lot of things.
I got one while you're thinking.
Go ahead.
Lenore. Diamado Lenore. I feel like the league acknowledges that he's good, but he's never been a Pro Bowler, never been a second team All-Pro. I'm not saying he's been snubbed, but he has been one of the better cornerbacks in the league for 2 years. He was really good in 2023, and then he backed it up in 2024. He's one of the few top corners who can play inside and outside equally well. I think he's totally underrated. I think he's a good player. Good player.
Yeah, I like that one. I'll go Sam Aquinu.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
Because you're talking about a defensive end. Nobody ever talks about this guy, and yet he's short, right? So he's like 6'1", but he's like 275 and ripped and fast.
Mm-hmm. And he can drop into coverage.
Yeah, I mean,
he can set the edge.
He can really set the edge in the run game. He can bend the edge as a rusher. You can line him up as a tackle. You can line him up as an end. He doesn't have a big ego because he's kind of been that, bottom of the roster, back of the roster kind of a prospect at the beginning of his career. So he's like contributes a ton and is really hard to block. And it's like he's an all-day deal for any tackle he's going against. But I mean, you could name, if I said who are the best defensive ends, you'd probably we'd name guys who didn't even play defensive end before we'd get to him. He's really underrated.
Yeah, good call. He might start week 1. Salah's being real cagey about who that third linebacker is going to be. And now maybe the Seahawks open up an 11 personnel, but I doubt it. And I think Salah wants us to think that Luke Gifford's going to start, but I just don't buy it because he's not that good. He's a liability, Luke Gifford.
I've heard people say Luke Gifford's a really good football player. He's a really good linebacker.
He's got special teams. You don't want him playing linebacker in the National Football League.
Yeah,
Luke,
I would say
30.
he's, I'll say another underrated player is I think Nick Martin. And I think Martin's going to wind up being really, really good. And if he's not starting, I mean, that right there is kind of reveals he's underrated.
Yeah, I'd like to see Nick Martin on the field sooner rather than later. Daddy, again, says, sorry about the name, but I think Seattle wins. Thank you for apologizing. Mr. Fish and Chip says, bring the other large journo Tom back instead. Oh, yeah. Tom usually streams with Ashley Ariana, who does a great job. But I got to get Tom back. He wrote for me today on SI.com. Check it out. Those are it. Those are all of the topics and all the super chats. We got 3,100 people watching. Normally our show is simulcasted. This season we might have to take turns week by week, but
we have sponsorship.
That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do.
We got sponsorship issues, but you know what?
We've gone very corporate in the last couple of years. This used to just be a mom and pop kind of a show, and now we got people behind us, telling. But we'll work it out. We always do.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have underlings. We have overlords. We have it all.
Yes, we do. Larry, great stuff. Everyone, thanks for watching. The two of us will be back. Larry probably going to be streaming in 2 hours. You never know with Larry.
Not tonight. I'm just going to barbecue some burgers
Hey,
I think I'm going to go to the gym and start throwing serious weights around later.
love it. For America. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you guys.
See ya.